up, come on, put your hands up, are you ready?
Thursday night football here tonight between the New York Jets and the Indianapolis Colts. Hey, what's going to happen? Anything could happen. I mean, Mike White, we didn't expect that to happen. Throwing for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but that's okay. That's okay. Anything could happen. Thursday night football. We're glad you guys are joining us for this brand new episode of Time2Football. My name is Hassan Khan, the host of the show that we like to call Time2Football. Glad you guys are joining us for this Thursday morning. Wow, Thursday, week 9. Week 9, I've been saying this every day, but I can't believe we're already at the halfway point so far in this NFL season. It's crazy. It's crazy, but we've gotten here. We've gotten here. I got the lights in the back set to green and blue. I dropped my phone. Hold on. All right. That's how you know when you're getting old, when you like sit down or bend over and you go like, ugh. I know, my life's pretty much over at 28 years old. But we are very, very grateful that you guys are joining us and joining us in the live chat as well. Please continue to leave your comments and your questions or anything that you want to talk about in the chat down below. Actually, as a matter of fact, we are going to acknowledge a couple of you guys. Dan is Q01 saying good morning from Montreal. Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining us from not across the pond, but across the Niagara Falls. Montreal, hold on. Detroit is connected to, like, you can go to Canada from Detroit. Close. Okay, I'm getting there. ZT, Darrell Williams, or Claypool in the flat. Oh, geez. Good morning to you too, ZT. Gosh. I will have a segment dedicated later on where I will answer some questions. So hang tight about that. Miguel, good morning, guys. Why Thursday night football? Let's go. Yes. Thursday night football between the Colts and the Jets should be a good one. They've had some classic battles in the past, including Peyton Manning losing to the New York Jets, believe it or not. Oh, no, wait. Or was it the Jets that lost they got to the AFC Championship game. That's what it was. The Jets with Mark Sanchez, remember, and then Peyton Manning. So, yeah, I mean, they've had some classic battles in the past as well. So, and you guys are continuing to leave your comments and everything. But, hey, I'm going to go ahead and answer your questions later on. But, I mean, right now we got to get into Thursday Night Football and really talk about the game here tonight. Offensive Player of the Month. I don't know if you saw this, but AFC Offensive Player of the Month was Jonathan Taylor. 7 total touchdowns this whole month of October. He's rolling. And there's no signs of him stopping. Like, the consensus number 1 running back this week should be Jonathan Taylor. The Jets just have no answer against the run game. They really don't. I mean, they can't stop him. And against Michael Pittman as well, who's been looking great the last couple of games, it's hard to stop him. I mean, Mike White has an incredible story, but how long can this really last for Mike White? I said this numerous times on the show, and I'll say it again. I mean, that trade for Joe Flacco was pretty much pointless. They should not have given up any sort of draft picks because you're in the process of rebuilding. I don't understand that. But anyways, Mike White has proved that he earned the starting job. Robert Saleh already saying that he's going to be starting for the quarterback at the quarterback position here tonight. And some other news that relates to Thursday Night Football as well is that Corey Davis is in doubt of playing in this game. So more than likely, Jamison Crowder will operate as the number 1 receiver in this game, which would be bad news for the New York Jets because they looked pretty good last week. And, against a good Colts defense, you'd expect that they'd be going off. Michael Carter has been a nice surprise as well. I know a lot of you guys are pretty high on him, on the rookie. But, against the Colts run defense, this is why if you watch our prize picks videos where we take the overs and unders on fantasy football projections, I said that Derrick Henry was going to have less than 23 fantasy points. And he only ended up with like 7 or something like that because the Colts run defense is really, really good. Now, he was hurt as well, but the Colts run defense, stellar. So, Michael Carter could be in for a game that's not so pretty. Although Tevin Coleman has been announced that he's going to be missing this game, so it could be the rushing attack of Michael Carter and Ty Johnson here again as well. But I mean, it should be a good matchup. I hope. I hope it's not one of those blowout losses because we want to keep Thursday Night Football entertaining. But yeah, can't wait for good old Joe Buck to commentate this game. There's no one else in this world that I would rather hear more than Joe Buck. But anyways, moving on. Let's talk about that NFL news and notes. So we're going to talk about NFL news, and then we're going to transition over to weekly picks. We'll give you a little bit of a preview for you guys that are into our weekly picks videos. But NFL news and notes, we already talked about Corey Davis going to be missing some time. Let's first hit on the big topics before we get into injury news and who else could be missing some time later on this week. Aaron Rodgers, he has COVID. All right, so this happened as soon as we signed off last week. As soon as we were like, hey, we're done with the show, get a notification on Aaron Rodgers out with COVID. I was like, dang, I should have stayed for like another minute or so. Then I could announce that on air yesterday. But yeah, he has COVID. He's going to be out. Now, is he vaccinated or not? That's the question. We don't know. We'll have to find out. Because if he did lie about his vaccination status, then he's in a little bit of trouble here. But, I mean, regardless, he has COVID. So he's going to be missing this game. Jordan Love is going to be making his first NFL career start. You know, we waited years for this Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers matchup, and we're going to have to wait some more years. Unless they make the Super Bowl, then we'll see that. But, yeah, he's out with COVID. So what's the response for the Packers? Well, they added Blake Bortles this past offseason. I don't know if you remember or not, but they signed him to the practice squad in the hopes that they would have a backup plan in case Aaron Rodgers was going through this whole, like, I don't know, I don't want to play for the Packers anymore kind of deal. He signed with the practice squad for the Packers, and then once Aaron Rodgers was announced that he's coming back, they released Blake Bortles. Well, now Blake Bortles is going to be flying out and more than likely going to be playing, or at least backing up Jordan Love in this game, because it's going to be Jordan Love starting, Blake Bortles backup. So they are out to sign. Blake Bortles expected to sign with the Packers practice squad for now, but then it's going to get elevated to the main roster here pretty soon. Speaking of another COVID-19 news, Saquon Barkley also diagnosed with COVID-19. Now, he was placed on the COVID-19 list. I mean, was he even going to play in this game anyways because he has his ankle injury? I think this pretty much puts a question mark and puts the questions to bed about Saquon Barkley and his status for this game. I mean, a lot of people were thinking, in my eyes, I think it would have been smart to just rest him anyways. Even if he did have that ankle injury, rest him this week because you have a Week 10 bye, and then have him come back in Week 11. I mean, what's the harm in that? You just have to not have him for one more game. And it's the same kind of scenario with David Montgomery, who by the time the Week 10 bye passes for the Chicago Bears, it'll be 6 weeks that David Montgomery would have been rested, which is the initial timetable, like the longest, the worst that David Montgomery had to rest for. And then he should be coming back for the Baltimore Ravens. So to answer your questions, I mean, if a Week 10 bye is coming up and you have a running back or player injured, whatever, I mean, more than likely they're going to sit out that player for that bye week or until the bye week, until after the bye week, and then they should be good after that. So Saquon Barkley, I think they were going to do that initially before the COVID-19 diagnosis, but this kind of puts it 100% clear, makes it 100% clear that, yeah, that's absolutely going to happen. What else do we've got? We've also got AJ Green on the COVID list as well, so he's going to be missing this game, we assume. So now you've got big names like Noah Fant, AJ Green, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's getting the COVID. Everybody's getting the COVID. So AJ Green is expected to miss this game. So that means that Christian Kirk is going to get an uptick. Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, so this is some interesting news. His dad posted on Twitter an 11-minute montage compilation video of the times that Odell Beckham was open and Baker Mayfield failed to throw it to Odell Beckham and hit him while he was open. So, in response, naturally, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that the Cleveland Browns would go up to OBJ and be like, listen, what's going on here? So they've been discussing with their agent right now. And right now, Odell was expected to practice. He was ready. That's what he expected. He was expected to practice. And then they were like, nah, you just sit out on this one. And now he's talking about Kevin Stefanski and the ownership of the Cleveland Browns are talking to his agent right now about the future of Odell Beckham and his status in Cleveland. So this is not so good news for OBJ and his status in Cleveland. More than likely, I'd assume that he's not going to be playing this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. But hey, I mean, that's just my thoughts. Taysom Hill suffered a concussion back in Week 5. He returned to practice on Wednesday, so that is good news. Sean Payton initially earlier in the week stated that, hey, there's a chance that Taysom Hill could play, but we're just going to wait and see. He's progressing really well, and this kind of gives us a little bit of hope that Taysom Hill, being limited in practice, he's shown signs of recovery and improvement, that he's going to be starting for the New Orleans Saints against the Atlanta Falcons this week. Elijah Mitchell, this is a little bit of a blow to the San Francisco 49ers. He suffered a rib injury. He does not practice on Wednesday, so it's kind of disappointing, but he's been great the last couple of games. Who would take over? I mean, you got your Michael Hasty. Jeff Wilson is expected sometime in the next couple of weeks, probably not in this week. And then you've also got Trey Sermon as well that could operate as the lead back. So that's, devastating news for San Francisco fans. Josh Jacobs, chest injury back in week 7, held him out of the game. Kenny Drake took over. But this time around, Josh Jacobs was limited in practice on Wednesday, so he's back. We expect him to be back for week 9. Sam Darnold has that concussion and that shoulder injury. He was limited at practice on Wednesday, so more than likely he's going to be playing. He's just got to deal with a couple of things right now, just kind of tolerate through the pain and the dizziness of the concussion, and he should be fine. Kadarius Toney, so he injured his thumb in that Monday Night Football game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And he actually, post-game, said that, I don't even remember that happening. I can't tell you a moment when I injured my thumb. Well, he did injure his thumb, and he was limited in practice on Wednesday. So more than likely, since he's not seeing it as a big deal and it's not really affecting him, they're taking it kind of a safe approach. He's limited right now, so I think Kadarius Toney should be fine for this weekend. Another Las Vegas Raider that was held out of the game in Week 7, Darren Waller. He returned to practice because of an ankle injury. He was held out back in Week 7, had a Week 8 bye. This is good news for Darren Waller, for him to rest up. Now back in Week 9, looks like he's going to be playing for the Las Vegas Raiders. Julio Jones, okay, now you guys are frustrated with Julio Jones. He has a hamstring injury. His status remains unclear for this weekend. Ooh, man, against the Los Angeles Rams, you're really going to need him because, I mean, A.J. Brown could be covered by Jalen Ramsey, and then who else are you going to, like Khalif Raymond? Like, not a knock on any of these guys, like Chester Rogers and all these guys, like good players. I'm just saying, you need Julio Jones out there as much as possible. So this is a big blow for the Tennessee Titans if his status remains unclear and Julio Jones does not play. Last little bit of news I wanted to relay over here is that Michael Gallup, the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, is hopeful that he'll be playing in Week 9. So the Cowboys are also hopeful in this. It just comes down to how he looks and feels in practice. But he's hopeful that he can play. So that is your NFL news and notes for today, Thursday, November 4th. All right, guys. What we want to do real quick is take a moment to give a shout out to a good buddy of mine who works for a company called Engineered Sleep. So I've been talking about this all season long, where Engineered Sleep is your go-to place for your mattress needs. Let's get serious. Did you know that you spend roughly a third of your life in bed? That's a lot of time if you think about it. On average, 6 to 8 hours a night and over 220,000 hours in a lifetime. If you're not getting quality sleep, it has a severe negative impact on everything the next day, whether it's a test, meetings, presentations, or just everyday tasks. You want to be your best no matter what. The sleep experts at Engineered Sleep have been at it for over 100 years of total experience. They've cracked the code to getting better sleep. They ask the right questions to get you exactly what you need so you can sleep better. We partner with them to get you 10% off, and that is up to $250. That's a lot of freaking dough that you can get off, and 2 free pillows. On your next purchase, just use the promo code T2F to get that special deal. These guys crush it. They have a 5-star Google rating, and all their products are 100% American made. Sorry, Danzig, who lives in Montreal. Don't sleep on this offer. Go to engineersleep.com. Use the promo code T2F. Well worth it. All right, now we give you a little bit of a preview of our weekly picks video that we show you every week. And we're going to do that by actually showing you the weekly picks video. So I'm just going to roll the graphics here real quick. I'm going to commentate over it. And then I'm going to come back here and talk about it real quick. So let me go ahead and pull this up. And then I will get back to you. All right. The halfway point of the regular season kicks off with the New York Jets taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Mike White has been a little bit of a surprise, passing for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. The Colts, on the other hand, want to make last week's overtime loss a distant memory. We asked you guys on Instagram who is going to win this game. 84% of you guys have voted for the Colts, 16% voted for the Jets. We're taking the Colts to win by 10. Moving on to Sunday's slate of games, a division battle that might be closer than you think. The Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints. Saints must rebound with the loss of Jameis Winston for the year, who tore his ACL last week. The Falcons must also learn to adapt without Calvin Ridley, potentially, for the remainder of the season. And looking at the polls that we took on Instagram, 84% are favoring the Saints, while 16% like the Falcons. We like the Saints to win in a close one by 3. The new-look Denver Broncos defense takes on the Dallas Cowboys and their high-powered offense. Dallas proved to be a top 5 team in our power rankings last week, getting a victory with Cooper Rush at quarterback. Dak Prescott should be good to go this week. Meanwhile, the Broncos traded away Von Miller and look to go off the momentum of last week's win over Washington. On Instagram, you guys favored the Cowboys heavily. 90% of you guys favored Dallas, while 10% favored the Broncos. We take the Cowboys to win by 14. The New England Patriots versus the Carolina Panthers. That's now back-to-back weeks where the Patriots have looked like a playoff contender, shutting down the Chargers' high-scoring offense last week. For the Panthers, they snapped a 4-game losing streak last week and potentially could have Christian McCaffrey back this week. Will that play a factor? According to guys on Instagram, doesn't matter. 20% are only favoring the Panthers, while 80% like the Patriots. We take the Patriots to win by 4. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens had a bye week to soak in the blowout loss to the Bengals a couple weeks ago. The Vikings continue to not be able to close out games, losing each game by 1 possession. And looking at Instagram, you guys favor the Ravens heavily in this game, 80%. While the Vikings continue to lose in those close games, 20% are favoring the Vikings. We think it's going to be another 1-possession loss by the Vikings. Ravens win by 6. AFC North battle, the Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals previously led the AFC until they were beaten by the Jets in an upset last week. The Browns, on the other hand, have bigger issues to deal with, as Odell Beckham's future with Cleveland is in question. Looking at the polls, you guys favor the Bengals to win heavily. 86% favor the Bengals, while 14% are favoring the Browns. We take the Bengals to win by 7. The Buffalo Bills versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. It wasn't the prettiest performance, but the Bills were able to escape with a victory last week against the Miami Dolphins. But what was even uglier than that was the Jaguars' disappointing loss to the Seattle Seahawks last week. And we asked you guys on Instagram who's going to win this game. No question, you guys are favoring the Bills, 94%, while only 6% are taking the Jags. We're taking the Bills to win big by 20. Well, this game actually won't be too awkward since Deshaun Watson wasn't traded. The Houston Texans take on the Miami Dolphins. Both teams are ranked in the bottom 3 in our power rankings. The Texans could also have Tyrod Taylor back for this week's game. And taking it to the polls, 74% are taking the Dolphins to win in this game, while only 26% like the Texans. We also take the Dolphins to win in a close one by 5. Fresh off a bye week, the Raiders travel to East Rutherford to face the New York Giants. The hits keep on coming for the Raiders, but they've handled adversity really well, currently 2-0 with interim head coach Rich Bisaccia. The Giants, on the other hand, are struggling with injuries, with Sterling Shepard expected to miss some time. Taking it to Instagram and looking at the polls, 82% of the viewers favor the Raiders, while 18% favor the Giants. We take the Raiders to win by 12. Not a good stretch of games for the Los Angeles Chargers, but hope to turn things around against the Philadelphia Eagles. After dropping losses to the Ravens and the Patriots, the Chargers hope they'll have much more success against the Eagles' defense. But don't count out that Eagles defense just yet, as they blew out the Detroit Lions 44-6 last week. But looking at the polls that we took on Instagram, you guys are counting out the Eagles. 84% are taking the Chargers, 60% like the Eagles. We take the Chargers to win by 4. Not the matchup we hoped for, but should still be a good one. The Green Bay Packers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The Packers catapult into the top spot on our power rankings after defeating the Arizona Cardinals. However, the classic Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers matchup we anticipated has to wait for another day, as Aaron Rodgers will not play due to COVID-19. And taking it to the polls on Instagram, you guys believe that doesn't matter. The first-ranked team in our power rankings are favored to win by 68% of you, while 32% are favoring the Chiefs. We actually are going to go against the grain. We're taking the Chiefs to win by 8. NFC West matchup between the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. Kyler Murray is dealing with an injury that may sideline him for this week's game, but the quarterback trending in the right direction is Jimmy Garoppolo, whose performance last week against the Bears solidified his starting job. Looking at the polls, only 17% like Jimmy Garoppolo, and the 49ers, 83%, if Kyler Murray plays or not, are taking the Cardinals to win in this game. We also take the Cardinals, even if Colt McCoy has to start, to win by 2. Sunday Night Football, the Tennessee Titans versus the Los Angeles Rams. The Titans have to make do without Derrick Henry, who won't be back into the playoffs at the earliest. For the Rams, Sean McVay has his eyes set on the Super Bowl, trading more draft picks to acquire Von Miller on that already stout defense. Will that make a difference in this game? 87% of you say that it will, are taking the Rams, while 13% are taking the Titans. We take the Rams to win by 13. And finally, Monday Night Football, the Chicago Bears versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields had a little bit of a breakout game last week, but is still struggling to translate that into wins. For the Steelers, their offense still isn't quite there, but more importantly, they've been able to win games as of late. In looking at the polls, you guys favor the Steelers to win in this one. 70% of you are taking Pittsburgh, while only 30% are taking Chicago. We're taking the Steelers to win by 13. And that is your weekly picks, presented by absolutely no one. Time to football, I guess. Parker Atkinson says, Hassan, you look high as hell. Hey, I may have smoked the weed prior to this episode. Lay off the weed. Just kidding, dude. It's 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. Just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Don't cancel me. Oh yeah. By the way, speaking of canceled, I mentioned that TikTok was saying, like, you know how they created the whole "Let's Go Brandon" thing. It's because of like NASCAR driver was saying, like, the reporter was interviewing that NASCAR driver, was like, they're saying "Let's go Brandon" right now, and they cut over to the crowd and they're saying "F Joe Biden," and then that's how "Let's Go Brandon" started. And I acknowledged that on air, and then someone was like, "Grow up, act your age." I didn't say anything. I didn't say whether I'm with anyone or against it. I just acknowledged it. So I got canceled when I said that. But anyways, yeah, speaking of canceling, I am not high, but thank you for your concern. I actually need some engineered sleep. I need a good mattress from them because I've been staying up a little bit, and I woke up a little bit early to work on today's show. So that's the reason. Anyways, now is the time that we acknowledge you guys in the comments, and we stop ignoring you because we have viewer questions that we are going to answer for the next 5-10 minutes or so. You guys have been patiently leaving your comments. All right, so let's go ahead and say this. You must have recorded this yesterday by Rubio. No, actually, this morning. I got up early. That's why I look a little tired in the eyes. But yeah, I recorded this pregame. That was a Kawhi Leonard laugh, by the way. I don't even see him. Okay, anyways. CHB, good morning. I picked up Jordan Love as soon as I heard about Aaron Rodgers. Should I start Love, Taysom, or Big Ben? I'd go Taysom Hill, dude. Jordan Love, I'm not too high on. I don't expect anything more than like maybe 14, 15 fantasy points now. It's a Chiefs defense. Chiefs defense hasn't been good. But listen, Jordan Love, during off-season, training camps, like he's had those games or those moments during camp when he like looked really good. And then he had those moments where he looked really bad. Is this Jameis Winston 2.0? I don't know. I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to go with someone that I know dominated Atlanta last year, and that was Taysom Hill with his rushing ability. So Hill would be the guy out of all three of those guys that I would hone in on. Bobby Maldonado. I picked up Carson Wentz for Aaron Rodgers. Do you think that's a good pickup? Yes. If someone is consistently getting you 17 fantasy points every single week, that is good. And a good matchup against the New York Jets, I think you can't go wrong with Carson Wentz. So good alert to pick up Carson Wentz. Me Google, should I drop Julio? I have AJ Brown. I wouldn't personally. I would still hold on to Julio Jones even if I didn't have AJ Brown. And I'm actually getting more. So, there's handcuffs for running backs. I'm getting a little bit more into handcuffs of wide receivers as well. Why not? I mean, you could get someone for really, like, for instance, Jamar Chase. Why not have Tyler Boyd? Like, I picked Tyler Boyd off the waivers when he wasn't doing that good because I have Jamar Chase on my team in my viewer league. I picked him up off the waivers because in the instance that Jamar Chase gets hurt, I have Tyler Boyd. Deebo Samuel as well. I'm thinking about this. I have Deebo Samuel in one of my leagues, and Brandon Ayuk is just sitting there on the waivers. Now, I have to create some room on my bench, but I'm thinking about, if Deebo Samuel gets hurt, Brandon Ayuk would be a good handcuff to have. So same thing with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. I mean, I would just keep Julio Jones at this point because wide receiver handcuffs, they're not as important and vital as running back handcuffs, but I would keep Julio Jones if I were you. Miguel Munoz saying, what's going on? Should I stash OBJ or get Bateman or Edwards on my bench? I don't know what's going on with Odell Beckham Jr. He could get released. He could go to another team, and he could do really well with another team. That could happen. So because of that possibility, if you've been riding with OBJ for this long, I would just keep him. I would stash him, sure. If you need an absolute starter this week, it would be Edwards between him and Bateman because I don't think OBJ is going to be playing this week. Aftershock value, Grand Rising. I like that. Nice little play. Here's my question. Should I trade Amari Cooper for Leonard Fournette? You can never go wrong with running back depth. Never go wrong with it. If you're absolutely in dire need for a running back, sure. Like if you're a Derrick Henry owner that lost Derrick Henry and you have like no other running backs and you got like your running back 2 as a bye week coming up, yeah, sure. I'm okay with that. I don't think Amari Cooper is. I mean, I value Amari Cooper more than I value Leonard Fournette personally. But it's just the only instance I would do that for Leonard Fournette is if you're desperate. And that wouldn't be a bad trade if you are desperate. Brandon's saying OBJ got excused today too. Oh, wow. Okay, so he is not. Wow, it is not looking promising. Wow, my eyes are actually really red. What the heck? You know what it is? I put my contact in. I only wear one contact because this eye is actually really bad to the point that I don't have to wear any contacts in it. It's just good for like peripheral vision. It's so blurry. Like I can't even read anything. So I only put it in this left eye because it's kind of good. It's like decent enough. So I put it in here. And sometimes though, when I do that, like if I don't clean it properly, my eyes can get red. Golly, dude. It does look kind of puffy. Oh my gosh. All right. Miguel. Start and sit question. Running back. I have Patterson playing the Saints. Okay. Herbert playing the Steelers. And Booker playing the Raiders. Need 2 to start. Okay. Definitely Devontae Booker. Matchup number 1. Number 2, revenge game. I think Devontae Booker is going to excel. And then between Herbert and Patterson. If it's PPR, I would go Patterson. If it's not, I'd go Herbert. Just because, I mean, the New Orleans Saints run defense is pretty freaking good. But Patterson is not being really used as a traditional running back. We know this. Herbert, on the other hand, had 20-plus carries last week. And with Damian Williams hurt, David Montgomery still hurt. Can't go wrong with that. So I'd go Herbert, standard, Patterson, PPR. Rushman saying, there's no way Hundley beats the Chiefs. You mean Jordan Love. But yes, I understand what you're saying. It's hard for Jordan Love to beat the Chiefs. Love, Hundley, doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Rob Navarro, weed is okay as long as you can function. Haha. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why at this point it's not legal if we're talking about. Oh my gosh, did I give an opinion on something political on this show? Canceled. I'm going to stay out of it. That's all I'm going to say. Should be legal. I don't do weed, by the way. I'm just saying. Boyd, Crowder, Renfro, full PPR pick 2. This is from Brian Thomas. Okay. So with Corey Davis out, man, but it's between Crowder and Renfro. The safest choice is Renfro, bro. You got to go Renfro. Renfro, bro. Ren, bro. Haha. All right, I'll excuse myself. Yeah, Renfro would be my choice. What else do we've got? Kawhi Laugh is priceless. This is from Greenfield. Yes, it is. Schultz or Ertz from Naslin. I'm going to go Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is a start for me. Schultz is a sit. I think even if Colt McCoy plays, it's going to be a little bit of a dump-off game to Zach Ertz, I watched that game against the Green Bay Packers, the Cardinals. And that was Zach Ertz's second game, I think, with the Cardinals. And the routes that he was running were short to intermediate. So I'm liking the aspect of Zach Ertz being the dump-off safety valve. The 49ers defense rushes Colt McCoy. They should be good. Now, if Kyler Murray plays, even better, because that's going to help Zach Ertz's value. But Schultz, on the other hand, Michael Gallup, you just heard the report at the beginning of the show that Michael Gallup could be coming back in Week 9. That's going to hurt Dalton Schultz a lot. So, yeah. Christian B, Flex Bateman, Dillon, Rondell Moore, or Chenault. Chenault, definitely no. Hold off on Chenault for now. Between those, I would go Rashad Bateman, honestly. I mean, what do you have? Like 6 targets in every game so far once he's come back from injury. I like Rashad Bateman. I really do. I don't think he's going to be an absolute game winner this week, but out of those options, I like him. How do you feel about Tannehill and PPR versus the Rams? I hate it. I hate it, dude. I don't think, unless he does anything amazing, like as far as rushing the football, which he can run with the football, but it's not a guaranteed. Passing the football, Derrick Henry not there, Jalen Ramsey on the opposite side, Von Miller, you got Aaron Donald as well. It's not looking good for Ryan Tannehill. I would go ahead and sit him. I am not confident in him. Is Pascal worth starting from JK Morrow 09? Nah. I remember one instance. I think I was in the playoffs, and then I lost like the first round or something, or the second round, and then I went down to the consolation bracket, and then I was like, ah, dang it. Well, I'm out of the playoffs. I'm still gonna play though in the consolation. Why not? Because fantasy football is fun. And I picked up Zach Pascal to Pascal. I don't know. I picked up Zach Pascal to stream him, and it turned out to be really well. And I was like very, very surprised that it worked out, because usually it doesn't. Zach Pascal just nah. I mean, Michael Pittman is the only one that I would invest in that offense as far as the wide receivers go. T.Y. Hilton, I mean, that's, he's hurt. So, yeah. So Crowder and Renfro, that's what Brian Thomas is asking. Renfro would be my choice. Crowder, I think, is going to get a lot of targets with Corey Davis out, but Renfro is just the safest guy that you can pick in fantasy football at the wide receiver position, so I would go with him. Tyler Shelton, opinion on McNichols' role versus Peterson role in Titans offense on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of Jeremy McNichols, just because Peterson's coming back, hasn't played all season long. He's 36 years old. He's going to be the ground and pound kind of guy. Could get 7 to 10 carries, could get a goal line touchdown. Cool. You can't depend on that, especially in the trenches when you got Von Miller now there and Aaron Donald as well. It's not going to look good for Adrian Peterson. I'd go for the PPR aspect. If you're in a PPR league with McNichols, who's the Titans are going to be down, we assume, a lot by a good margin against the LA Rams. So you expect them to pass the ball a lot more. Jeremy McNichols is going to be the beneficiary of that in fantasy football. So, yes, I like McNichols a lot more than Peterson, and I would have added McNichols over Peterson 100%. What else do we've got? Rubio saying Barkley tested negative the second time they tested him. You still think he won't play? Is Tyreek Hill a lock to start, or is it the other guy, whatever his name is, or Taysom Hill? I was about to say Trevor Siemian. I know some jokes around Twitter are going like Trevor Seaman. Call it what you want, but it's Trevor Siemian. I think Taysom Hill is is not a lock per se, but I mean, just the fact that it was between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston in the offseason and nobody really knew, and Sean Payton didn't really know until like the preseason who was it going to be. Taysom Hill's in consideration, has strong consideration in starting this game. Now, to go off of your Barkley comment, I had no idea, honestly, so thank you for that little bit of a nugget and that information. If Barkley tested negative the second time, I mean, I like the chances. I really do. I like Barkley to play in this game. Now, it's all you got the other factor too of the ankle. Like, is the ankle good enough? And are the Giants going to just shut him out? Let him rest up for the Week 10 bye, and then just go 11 through 18, weeks 11 through 18, just all out Saquon Barkley. That could happen. I don't think they're going to really rush into him, but the fact that he had a negative test, it's kind of promising. But that ankle just kind of worries me. Anthony, as always, enjoy the show. PPR, pick 3, Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, Jerry Jeudy, DeAndre Hopkins, or Christian Kirk. I mean, I would just go with the usual that always do really, really well. That's Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins, and even AJ Brown. Even though he could be shadowed by Jalen Ramsey, I mean, he's just way too talented to pass upon. And I mean, who else is Ryan Tannehill going to throw the ball to? This is actually the concern that I had last year. When the 49ers were just dealing with so many injuries, I had Deebo Samuel on my bench, and Deebo Samuel was the only healthy receiver. Like, Brandon Ayuk was out, George Kittle was out. I was like, oh my gosh, but like Jalen Ramsey and the Rams, like, I don't know if I want to. He ended up having like a 16 target game and like did really, really well. So sometimes you just got to ignore the matchup and just go with the talent and go with who else are they going to throw to? AJ Brown, out of all the receivers, is probably going to get the most open, even if Jalen Ramsey were to cover him. Got to go with AJ Brown. So DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Brown, and Deebo Samuel would be my options. What else that we've got? ZT, beginning the show, I acknowledge you. Darrell Williams or Claypool in the flex. I don't know if you're still tuning in, but I'm going to go ahead and say that in the flex, I'm going to go with Darrell Williams, who's been utilized in the receiving game a lot, and against the Green Bay Packers could have a good game. Let me answer a couple more, and then I got to sign off here. Who have I not given any love to? Alex G, flex PPR, Darrell Williams or T. Higgins. Got to go again with Darrell Williams. In the running game, in the passing game, Darrell Williams can do it all. Marvin Amador, can I drop Higbee? Yes. It's okay. You could drop Tyler Higbee. I'm very sad to say that. I am. The numbers are there, the snaps are there, the routes run are there. He's just not getting the love. He's not getting the looks, he's not getting the love. It's Cooper Kupp. That's just taking it all. And then Robert Woods comes out and says, hey, I'm not getting any targets, so they just start to force feed him targets. So Higbee is a lost cause. What else have we got? Rob Dale, aloha, man. Pick 2, PPR. Sutton, Waddle, or DJ Moore. DJ Moore and Sutton would be my options. I like Waddle. I really do, but I'm going to go with DJ Moore and Courtland Sutton in this game. What else do we've got? Jeremy, you tune in a lot. Renfro, Claypool, and the flex half PPR. See, it's like hit or miss with Claypool. It's like, is it going to be Claypool? Is it going to be Deontay Johnson? Is it going to be both? Renfro is like the safest guy that you could choose, but then again, like he can only get you like 9, 10 points, while Claypool could get you like 15. I like the safe option. I always go safe in fantasy football. I always go consistency. I'm going Renfro, especially in a flex where it could be like hit or miss. I mean, you could go Renfro. Now, another strategy that you could take is if you have consistency, like for you guys that have been tuning in a ton of football for the longest time, you guys know the 69 nice rule, where 6 out of 9 players are consistent. And if you have a consistent 6 out of 9 players in your starting lineup, then the other 3 positions, you can take the risk and go out. That's the strategy I follow, and it's worked out really well for me. So if you're consistent at running back, like you have Jonathan Taylor, if you're consistent at wide receiver, like you have Deebo Samuel or Jamar Chase or Cooper Kupp, if you're consistent at quarterback, like you have Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, whoever, And flex spot is the only spot where you don't have any consistency and you have that opportunity and that flexibility to go all out, boom or bust, then I would go Claypool. But if you don't have a consistent team and it's just kind of hit or miss, it's just all over the place, bring a little bit of consistency in there, add in Hunter Renfrow into the mix. I don't know if that helps your question at all. There's a little bit of strategy behind it. But if you want consistency, Hunter Renfrow, boom or bust, Chase Claypool. Also matters who you play as well. If you're playing one of the best teams in the league, you may want to go boom or bust and Chase Claypool. DJ Mickey saying hello. Thank you. Hello, dude. Hello. I do have to sign off right here, though. But hey, we are going to be here. I'm going to try to live stream tomorrow. The Atlanta Braves parade is actually tomorrow. I don't know for sure if I'm going to go or not. It's happening at 12. And traffic in Atlanta, you have to pretty much either drive at 3 a.m. or sit in traffic, no matter what time of the day it is or what day it is. So I may have to leave the house really early to get there in time. But hey, we appreciate you guys joining us for this episode of Time to Football. Subscribe to this channel if you aren't already subscribed. Like I said, thank you guys so much for joining in. And remember,